So apparently the media is already doing damage control for the Odyssey. Is this a thing? They're already trying to preemptively do some damage control, talking about negativity, the negativity economy, which is kind of wild because the geek media, the mainstream media, actually started the whole thing. They really did, 10, 15 years ago with, constantly baiting and attacking gamers and nerds because they knew it got clicks, which is ad revenue. And now they're like, well, if you do it, it's bad. If you guys do it, it's bad. Like, look, I haven't been beating the Odyssey drum very hard over here because I don't really care. I'm going to be honest. I don't care one way or the other. I think attacking people for having concerns of the casting, I mean, it's they're banking on outrage as much as the YouTubers they're attacking, the people they're attacking are. If you want to use a Nolan reference, it's what like a rageception, maybe negativity inception. I don't know, but we'll talk about the Odyssey a little bit in this article from Collider. And look, I want to be up front here. I don't think the Odyssey is going to fail. I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, I don't think the general public is aware of the backlash. Now, I could be very, very wrong, but I don't think Christopher Nolan has had any major misfires in recent memory. I think most people see his name attached to a movie and it seriously could just be 2 hours of somebody taking a dump and they'd probably go see it. Seriously, they would, right? I thought Oppenheimer was a good movie, but it was boring as hell. And, it's like, it still made a ton of money. It made like almost $1 billion about a guy just basically standing around talking about nuclear bombs, making nuclear bombs, and then Florence Pugh's boobs halfway through the movie. That's what it was. But it was good. It was good. I think some of his movies are massively overrated. I do like The Prestige, though. I think that might actually be my favorite Nolan movie. But we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV. And if you're looking for the podcast version of Clownfish TV, and we have talked about the Odyssey a couple of times, I don't really follow it that closely, but there are a couple episodes out there you can check out on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, I thought this is funny. They just put this up a couple hours ago. The article's actually been out there for like a week though. This is an opinion piece and I don't even know if it's their opinion. I don't even know what's true anymore. I'm going to be honest. On the internet, like I really do think it is like 4D chess. I think that we've got these media outlets taking contrary positions just because it's a contrary position. And even if people come in and rip you a new one in the comments, well, that's an ad click. That's a view, right? That's advertising revenue in your pocket. So I really do think that they're playing a game. They know what is a hot topic, a hot potato right now. And before it was Star Wars, now nobody cares about Star Wars. Okay, let's go for the Odyssey and try to bait people now with this and make some money because God knows these websites need to make money. Coming from Collider, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is already one of 2026's most anticipated films, with Warner Brothers even releasing limited tickets a year in advance. However, early promotional material from first images to the latest trailer has sparked notable online backlash over casting, accents, dialogue, and design choices. The reaction has fueled a wider discussion around outrage culture in modern fandoms, where films are increasingly judged before release. Negativity often dominates online discourse over measured criticism. It's very funny because we did a couple of videos and we had people jump in the comments. We talked about Masters of the Universe and the media doing actually damage, I believe, and Geeky believes, to Masters of the Universe before it came out because they're looking for every reason to kind of rub it in people's faces. Like, look, this one's going to stick it to the chuds because this is about, femininity coexisting with masculinity. And yeah. They were looking for reasons to get people outraged. And I don't think these outlets have any moral high ground to stand on at all. Right. And neither do, like, we get people that are like the antis, right? The antis or whatever in the YouTube space. They're like anti-YouTube YouTubers. And all they do is bitch about other YouTubers. But the things that they're bitching about, they're doing themselves. Like, well, they're making money off of ad revenue and they're selling merchandise, as the person puts up a whole bunch of plasters, a whole bunch of links. Here's where you can send me Venmo money, and here's where you can join my Patreon, and here's where you can send me super chats. So it's kind of funny in that regard. You always have to ask what the motivation is, right? But remember, Collider is a Valnet site, and I don't believe anything Valnet puts out, because Valnet's all about the hits. Hits. That's what they want. And they're losing hits. So they're going to jump into this, trying to get some hits. So this was put up like a week ago. The insane reactions to Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey are part of a bigger problem Hollywood can't ignore. Now, what are the reactions? People have concerns about the casting. Lupita Nyong'o was supposedly cast as Helen of Troy, I believe. Some of the casting choices are weird. Did we ever get Elliot Page? Was that confirmed that Elliot Page was going to be Achilles? I don't know. But I just think it's funny that they're like, oh, hey, these people are so outraged. Let me write an article ripping these people apart because I'm outraged that they're outraged. And then somebody else will come along and be like, I'm outraged that you're outraged, that I'm outraged that you're outraged. Anyway, so in a year full of major releases, The Odyssey has cemented itself as one of 2026's most anticipated films, an adaptation of the legend, very loose adaptation of the poem by Homer. Scott Pattinson, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon. Warner's is so confident that they sold a limited number of tickets for The Odyssey a whole year in advance. Despite all these pieces, a great cast led by an Oscar-winning director who is adapting a story beloved by millions, reactions to the promotions from the first images to the latest trailer have been surprisingly negative. Oh my God, guys, you're so negative. Well, not universal. Okay, so what's the problem then? The blowback became a major talking point for online criticism of The Odyssey, with some lamenting the accents, the dialogue, the set design. At least they're not are they rapping in The Odyssey? Because I heard they hired a rapper. Are they rapping? Is it going to be like Hamilton? That'd be kind of funny. I would actually go see that. I think I'd go see just rapping The Odyssey. The reaction to The Odyssey trailer is the latest example of a growing phenomenon where negativity, not legitimate criticism, becomes the dominant form of engagement long before audiences actually see the final product. It is a problem that has existed for years. Yes, because outlets like yours, maybe not Collider specifically, they laid down the blueprint. You guys did. All these gaming journos attacking their political adversaries, you showed them how to do it, man. It's kind of like that one drug commercial from the 80s. Like, where'd you get this? Where'd you learn how to do that? What'd you learn about this stuff? I learned it from you, okay? I learned it from you. Yeah. I'm just saying. You made the monster. You guys made the monster. Now you're just mad that they're getting more views than you are. That's what I think it is. It's a problem that has existed for years, but it's become all the more prevalent in the age of social media and begs the question, can Hollywood keep ignoring it? No, they're not ignoring it. They said Nolan's The Odyssey is already a victim of the negativity economy. This isn't a problem unique to The Odyssey. In fact, few franchises catch more flack than Star Wars. The recent hit, The The Mandalorian and Grogu, marked Star Wars' return to the big screen, and it failed miserably. It dropped off out of the top 5 after like 3 weeks. What are you talking about? A hit for the first time since the Rise of Skywalker. However, as excitement for the TV series cooled, so did the franchise's ability to count on its own fan base to generate buzz for the movie. Every casting rumor, cameo, or narrative decision in the series became a battleground for online discourse. Star Wars fans became less concerned with the quality of the stories, more interested in the ongoing culture war surrounding ownership of the beloved franchises. Basically, everybody checked out of Star Wars because there's so much bad Star Wars. And I'm going to be honest, several Valnet-owned sites definitely whacked the beehive to get clicks and drove people away from a lot of these franchises. You guys did, because you started with the whole, if you like The Last Jedi, you're a bigot. If you personally participated in harassment against Kelly Marie Tran and blah, 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 you hate women in Star Wars and blah, 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 blah. And people are like, you know what? Fuck it all. I'm just out, and I'm not going to go see any more Star Wars movies. How you like that? They're like, well, what happened? What happened to Star Wars? It must be the toxic negativity chased people off. It's like, no, people are just like, yeah, I'm tired of it. The Odyssey is the latest instance in which audiences begin judging the film prematurely by criticizing scenes, casting, costumes, and dialogue without the context needed to make criticism meaningful. Here's the thing, right? The purpose of, and I love this, people are like, well, you have no right to judge this movie based solely on its trailer. Bitch, that is the reason people go to or do not go to see a movie, is the movie trailer. The trailer is supposed to sell you on going to see the movie. If you're not allowed to have a reaction to the trailer, and I'm not talking the Odyssey specifically, I'm talking about anything. I don't give a shit about the Odyssey. I really don't. The whole casting controversy is like, oh my God, here we go. That being said, I'm not dumb enough to say it's going to fail because it's a Christopher Nolan movie. And even the most boring ass Christopher Nolan movie is going to make a bunch of money. It just is, because it's a Christopher Nolan movie. He just prints money. Like, the money just shoots out of his ass like diarrhea. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah, this is what people do. This is what people do. They watch a trailer. They decide if they want to see a movie. And if they say, hey, I saw the trailer, it looks like shit, I don't want to go see this movie, that's their prerogative. And a lot of people watch these trailers for a lot of different movies, and then they don't want to go see the movie. Or maybe they thought, hey, the trailer looks pretty good, and then they go read reviews or, interviews from outlets like Collider. I'm not saying Collider specifically, but they read what the media has to say. And then the celebrities open their mouths and say dumb shit. And people are like, I was going to go see that movie, but yeah, I'm not going to drop like $75 to $100 for a night out to go see this movie when I know the people associated with the movie literally hate me. And the people writing these articles literally hate me. So you want to talk about the negativity economy there, Valnet. You guys totally deal in it. In fact, I would say some of your sites helped create it. It's kind of like Batman. I went to go see Batman '89 in the theater, which it hits differently in the big screen. I haven't seen it since I was like 10 or 12, but it was pretty cool. Not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I had fun. And I was sitting there thinking, like, it's kind of like, you made me. Well, you killed my parents. Well, you dropped me into the acid. Well, yeah, you rinse and repeat. And so this is going to continue. And this whole thing, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is being attacked for casting. This is all about the hits for Valnet to make money. Elliot Page is rumored to be portraying Achilles. Blah, blah, blah. The bigots are mad. As franchises and fandoms continue to dominate pop culture, studios and audiences face difficult questions. Outrage become the defining language of entertainment criticism. You started it. I'm just saying. No, actually, you want people to be outraged. I'm going to be honest. Look at what happened to Star Wars. People aren't angry enough. So nobody cares to go to the movie. They don't care anymore. People check out. You burn out after being told you're a horrible person for not liking a trailer, or you're a horrible person for having any nitpicks with a movie, or you don't like this actor because they're polarizing, or whatever the hell it is. You check out. Why do people go back to watch old stuff? Well, one, you like it, and two, probably half the people in the movie are dead, so you don't have to worry about them, and their dumbass opinions. Hollywood cannot fix toxic culture on its own. At the end of the day, it's the consumer who bears responsibility for how movies and television are interacted with, discussed, and criticized. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. No, it's also the fault, and I would say primarily the fault of the fucking media. And again, we ran into this with Masters of the Universe. The media was going out of its way to make it sound as unappealing as possible to the target demographic by throwing around things like, well, they're sticking it to toxic masculinity. Well, did you know Adam is just, he's kind of feminine, a little bit. And, Teal is really kind of a take charge boss bitch. How you like them apples there, bigots? It's all about the views. It's all about the views. Then they complain that YouTubers are all about the views. It's like these outlets, look, you're going to see more and more crazy shit like this year because all these websites are collapsing because the Google Zero is here. Google has changed their search engine algorithm. I don't know if you guys watched our videos on that or not, whatever. it's over. There's no more traffic being funneled to these websites. So they're going to be even more sensationalistic than they have been in the last like 7 or 8 years. You're going to see the craziest shit come out of these websites to try to cling on to some relevancy. And sites that are owned by this company in particular are only paying like $3 to $5 an article. It's yeah. And it's a lot of it's AI generated shit. So you're going to see some crazy shit. It's going to be like, what's the word salad that might get us some traction? And, oh, every time you antagonize the fan base, we get hit. So go out there and whack the beehive and tell people they're awful. That's good for views. I'm like, yeah, it's just, people don't like being told they're awful. Actually, what happens is you don't give a shit about these movies anyway, because if you did, you would not be inciting fans to get angry about the movie one way or the other. And this is actually going to cause problems. Now, I do think Nolan is one of the few cases that he is kind of like media proof. Like I said, he could just literally have a movie about a guy shitting his pants for 3.5 hours and people would pay money to see it. I don't get it either, but that's just kind of the kind of director he is. But yeah, this is not helping. This does not help. The media doesn't want the fans to go home and think about what they've done. That's not what this is about. They're going to be contrarians to try to grab some traffic. Just like there are some YouTubers out there that maybe were pro one side and then they flipped to the other side because they're like, well, it's not this gimmick isn't working anymore. This grift, I guess, isn't working anymore. So I'm going to flip to the other side and I'm going to try to antagonize YouTubers. Yeah, that's a ticket. That'll make me relevant again. And that's not how it works, right? People just get burnt out. They get tired and they move on to other things. I don't know. This is crazy. This is a crazy thing to write, but we're going to see a lot of this shit leading up to this movie because it is a huge culture war thing right now. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.